I am really excited tonight to tell you three things. First, why are robots good? Why don't we have them? And how are we going to make them happen? So, in order to explain the first one, why are robots good, I'm going to have to step back and give you the big picture. Yeah, it's not big enough. It could be a little bigger. So, we all live on this nice little planet, and we're very productive here. Our estimated world GWP, gross world product, is roughly $61 trillion. That's a lot of cash. But where's most of this come from? Most of this actually, this productivity, it comes from factories. And so, and we have a huge increase in from, those are old slides. So we've had a huge increase in productivity. And so where's all this productivity come from? It's come from factories. And in factories, well, let me tell you a little story about factories. A few years ago, it was more like 10 years ago, I'm getting a little old, and there I went with a group of friends who, most of them are here tonight, and we visited all the wonderful temples and big cities, and even the hot springs. Oh, there I am right there. And which the hot springs definitely I recommend visiting. But the most amazing thing we saw there was a Toyota car manufacturing plant. Well, at least I thought so. And there, I was really amazed. I saw all these workers doing stuff and all these robots doing stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I asked the tour guide, and I was like, oh, wow, how many people work here? And he said, oh, about 400 people. And I was like, wow. And how many cars do you make? And he said 500 cars in a shift. I was like, wow. I thought it was absolutely impressive that 400 people can make that many cars in one day. If I thought to myself, if I had all the tools and all the stuff, it'd probably take me years to make that happen, to actually do it myself. And so I asked myself, well, how are they so productive? Are they stronger than me? Or are they faster or something like that? But actually, it turns out they're just like you and I. So if that's true, then there must be something more special. And it turns out they work in a factory where it's all optimized to make whatever device they have. And it actually uses people and mechanisms and assembly lines. But most importantly, they use automation and robotics to create this productivity. And so then, following my logical argument, that what if you're able to take that automation out of the factory and into our everyday lives? Wouldn't that be cool? Because I look at my automation in my everyday life, and I look at my washer and my dryer, and I'm like, the washer can't even put the clothes in the dryer by itself. And in the factories, they're like doing windshields and doing all these crazy things. And what if we were able to do that? What if we were able to give that type of productivity from the factory into our normal everyday lives? I believe that would increase our economy by orders of magnitude. Not just like a little gain here and there, like 1%. I'm talking in the hundreds of percent change. So that number I had before, that 61 trillion, multiply by that by, may say, 200. That could be our total GWP 100 years from now. And so that's the game I want to play. I want to play big games. So why are robots good? Robots are good because I think they'll do great things for our economy. And besides, who wouldn't want to have a robot? I think it's one of those innate things that you want to have. And in January, I asked my mom. Well, my dad was like saying, well, "Why are you building robots? Robots are how are you going to sell them to and stuff like that?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm still working on it. And I asked my mom, "Hey, Mom, do you want to buy a robot?" And she said, "Yes, I want to buy a robot." And I was like, great, I got a first customer. But and so then my second question was, why don't we have them in our everyday lives? Why aren't they around? If they're such a good idea and they're going to be so productive, why aren't they here? Good question. I mean, there are little Roombas running around, and there are a couple other robots. But why don't we have the robot they promise us in the world's fairs and stuff like that? And my answer to that question is, robots are hard. They're hard to do. one of the reasons why they're hard is they're a complex combination of mechanical systems, electrical systems, and software. Lots and lots and lots of software. And in order to do that, in order to build this complicated thing, you have to have really awesome mechanical engineers, really awesome electrical engineers, and really fabulous software guys. So, and all those guys, I found out, because I came from the software world, so I'm in this camp over here, and I started talking to some mechanical engineers, and they talk a completely different language. I mean, it was really hard to even talk to them, because they are always saying, oh, that's a software problem. And I'm saying, no, your systems are not working correctly. And they're all blaming each other, and it's really hard to actually get them to all work together. But I think we found a way to make that happen. We give them food. So after that, so robots are hard, but there's even more problems. So if it was just one problem, that's not a deal breaker. But there's also very little investment going into robotics today. Very, very little, especially personal robotics. Japan puts most of the money into personal robotics because they see as their national, what do you call it? A national duty to do this. So to handle a lot of their elderly people. And if there's no investment in it, then people won't work on it. So if there's any VCs in the room, let's get some money into robotics. And the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why there's very little investment in robotics is because there's no market for robotics today. Because robots can't really do anything that useful that you're willing to actually spend a lot of money for. So if there's no market, then there's no investment, and there's no investment, there's nobody's working on it, so thus we have no robots. And that is a sad day. Well, for you guys, we have robots. So this is a classic chicken and egg problem, that without robots, we can't develop useful apps, and without useful apps for the robots to run, there's no robots. So the question is, so that's why we don't have them. And so my last thing is, how are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make this happen? Well, first, we cannot do this alone. Actually, we don't want to do this alone, because it's more fun to do it with other people. And so what we are doing, our strategy, is actually create a community of people, of researchers, developers, and industry, and get them to work together to make this a market and a real thing. And what we're bringing to the table is that we're bringing a platform, a sturdy, robust platform for these guys to stand upon and to build upon, and so that software guys can work on the software things, the hardware guys can work on the little hardware things, and the researchers can stand up really high and do all the really hard stuff. And this is our strategy, is to build this platform, and then you're going to see it in a little bit. It includes a bunch of things. And the most important thing I want to say is that we, as Willow Garage, we don't intend to own this. We don't intend to control it, and we don't intend to be the gatekeepers or the app approvers of this system. But most importantly, we don't intend to slow it down. We want to accelerate this. We want to put the pedal to the metal and make this happen, because I'm not getting any younger. I want to make this happen in my lifetime. So this is why I started Willow Garage, and this is the vision of the company, to make robots happen and to make this an industry.